What is going on, everybody? My name is Dr. Oolong. I'm the Mad Doctor of Spark. With me again is Ultra David. Ultra David, how's it going?
It's going really well. We've seen some interesting matches in this side of the NA groups. We're in Group B of the North American side of things. And let me just run it down for you real fast in terms of our results. We've had a 3-0. We had another 3-0. And then we had another 3-0 after that. So now we're going down to the loser side of things. We're going to have BabySpine, who lost to 24, and we're going to have Tim, who lost to Kronster.
Mm-hmm. So if history repeats itself, this will be another 3-0. But, 3-0 almost doesn't tell the full story.
Yeah, you're right.
These matches were all really, really well played. In all honesty, I can safely say that this has probably been my favorite experience, both as a caster and watching these matches today. They have just truly been incredible. We do have BabySpine from the sunny land of Florida, and Tim from the ancient and mysterious land of Australia, who are going to be fighting off against each other. And I got to say, that's one of my favorite things about Blaston is, these two players are located all the way across the world from one another.
Yeah.
And yet, this isn't even the first time that they've played each other in a tournament.
Interesting. Okay.
Go ahead and come right up.
I guess we will.
Here we go. All right. So Tim running a very similar build to what we saw last time. Highlights there are the Fast Fall Hurricane and that high damage Lance Nade. And then BabySpine also running something similar to what we saw last time. He is bringing back that Curve Luma. Good for him.
Yeah, it's actually
and also running the Viper
same
Lips.
build that he had before.
Right. All right. Starting off here. Tim's already taken a big chunk of damage. Ooh, he is going to go ahead and land one of the clamps. And managed to get pretty much even with BabySpine. BabySpine still has a slight bit of a lead here.
We have seen a lot of close ones, even as they have been 3-0s in this set of things. So I'm hoping for another close one. I'm hoping for not a 3-0. I'd love to see more Blaston today, but I'd love a close one either way.
That'll be up for the players.
It's not our choice to make, yeah.
Exactly. Tim going ahead and setting up those projectiles on the left-hand side of BabySpine's podium. And then he's going to follow it up with some hammer clamps, also focusing the right-hand side. Pretty good setup, all things considered. I will say that I think I prefer the Fast Fall Hurricane. I'd like more damage in a faster projectile over slow, but it certainly is a bit of a menacing wall of bullets that he's able to put down here. And he gets a little bit of extra ammunition coming as well.
It really does force the opponent's movement for quite a while. It forces them off certain spots of the podium, which can be very helpful. Of course, 15 on the clock now. BabySpine's the one with the advantage. Tim's got to find something.
Yep. Maybe with this fast hammer ellipse.
Yeah, that ellipse.
We're gonna see. Ooh, a curve.
Oh, here we go. He does find it with. Oh, it was just before the buzzer. Buzzer beater from Tim comes out from that Viper.
Incredible, fantastic stuff. Seeing his opportunity and absolutely taking it. Great job. Great job. Okay, that's actually good positioning there from that laser too. The Lance Nade is a little bit tricky. It honestly is probably one of my favorite nades, but it is very easy to bait it off to the side. You can see BabySpine here just kind of like just standing there and then having to duck down, and the beam is almost completely taken off of the play area. Okay, but he is getting forced over into this corner. The hammer ellipse is coming out. He uses the shield. He manages to get out of it.
BabySpine now with the Luma trying to find a couple of hits. Nothing backing them up, really. Well, delayed hammer ellipse as it approaches. Finally, it's there.
Yeah, that's the thing with this slow fall hurricane. It kind of sets itself up. You've got enough time, even if you fire it off with absolutely nothing else to follow it up at the time. By the time that it actually reaches your opponent's play area, usually you'll have at least something.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, we're seeing that here, Tim. Oh, wow. What evasion right there. Just happened to get right back from the Viper ellipse. It's underneath. There's Tim again with that Hurricane, setting it up. Does a good job at getting away from the Wildcat there.
Yeah, he's...
Oh! Okay, hold on, though.
5 seconds left. Come on, Tim. Let's see the miracle.
Yeah, he's setting it up again. Last chance for them as they fall down. He's got to follow it up with something big.
Not going to happen, unfortunately. BabySpine with that fast hammer ellipse is going to go ahead and take round 1. I feel like that's actually a bit of a new attachment. I haven't seen run a lot in recent tournaments. Again, that hammer ellipse, usually its role is to be more of a hazard and punish your opponent for moving. Oof!
Okay.
Double Luma shots coming out from BabySpine, bringing Tim to about half health.
Yeah.
But
Great
yeah,
start
a
from
lot of
BabySpine.
players have been running it. It does extra damage, and it's faster. So, you know, it may have less of a duration on your opponent's play area, but as sort of a quick way to put pressure on your opponent, it certainly is effective.
The nade comes out. BabySpine's going to have to move. Or at least stay still. Looked like it actually kept him still. He couldn't move anywhere else. But the slow speed of that Hurricane actually made it not be a threat for him. Luckily for him. BabySpine, though, takes a bunch of damage. As Tim finds some significant shots. BabySpine forcing the movement out of Tim right there. Here's Tim. He's got a couple in hand. Hurricane starts.
Nice draw. Nice draw.
And yeah, that nade really didn't have too much effect right there. We've seen that the last couple times it's come out. It hasn't really forced BabySpine into any bad positions.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, it's just such an easy nade to bait out. And if you're experienced enough with it to know how to bait it out, you know, you can sort of create...
Oh, boy.
Create a pocket of safety for yourself. Although, BabySpine getting hit in said pocket of safety.
That's true.
He's brought down to the red. 20 seconds left on the clock. This still could go to anybody. Those Hurricanes are coming down.
BabySpine just evading, though.
Step forward.
No big deal. He just backs off. But he backs off too far. Did he step out of bounds?
Damage. Out of bounds damage. And Tim is going to go ahead and take...
Wow. Unfortunate error right there by BabySpine. We're talking about how the options from Tim, like the nade, like the slow Hurricane, you know, of course, they were forcing movement to some degree, but BabySpine was doing a good job at not really being where they were. And then he himself, unfortunately, was the one who accidentally stepped out in a very consequential moment, unfortunately for him.
Yeah. And you hate to see it, but again, we kind of talked about it in the EU bracket. You know, that's something where the developers really do want to punish you.
Sure, of course.
Stepping outside for those exact reasons. But yeah, you know, I wouldn't say that Tim's build was necessarily underwhelming. I mean, certainly hitting those Viper Ellipse shots. Those were great Viper Ellipse shots. It's just that it's sort of all over the place, right? He's running the fast hammer ellipse, even though he could be setting up clamps, which would punish movement, which actually could complement the slow fall Hurricane even better. You know, the extra damage lance nade, when it hits, you know, of course that does, I think, like, if I'm remembering correctly, it does 7.5 damage a tick, so 15 damage a second, which is the equivalent to the Lance Rapid, which we saw the damage that was able to do earlier today. And it's massive when it hits, but BabySpine was getting out of the way of it, was able to bait it out. So overall, you know, I sense a lack of cohesion from Tim's build. I really want to see him throwing out that entire combo at once. I feel like he, right now, has a lot of good pieces of the puzzle. He just needs to find a way to fit them together.
You know, you talked about how that Hurricane, as it falls down slowly, can often be backed up by other stuff. I do see him bringing it out when he doesn't really have anything yet to go. And that idea might be okay, but there were moments when he didn't really have things backing it up. I mean, I saw Hurricane as it fell. I saw the nade, you know, in that similar time. But it looked like BabySpine was able to evade both of them, like right at that moment. That a couple times the combo came up. So yeah, maybe there will be a change out of Tim. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think we are just about to get into this next matchup here. We'll go ahead and we'll see. I do actually see the changes. he is doubling down on this. He has gotten rid of that Viper Ellipse in favor of a Bounce Viper, and he has also added on the slow Hammer Nade, which is going to give him another consistent hazard to use with the high damage Lance Nade. I actually think that high damage Lance Nade might be his win condition here. Trapping his opponent and then following it up with the Lance Nade and really just zapping the ever-licking heck out of them and to do his main source of damage. So let's see how it plays out. Starting things off right here. Tim takes just a little bit of damage from that fast Hammer Ellipse. I do also see changes from BabySpine, mainly that charge hammer, which we've seen used a lot today as well. Again, not just for the charge, but also for the ability to go ahead and use it as a slower variant of the normal hammer. BabySpine also using the slow fall Hurricane now, sort of taking that from Tim's build.
He's also given up the Aegis Shield in favor of the Raptor now.
Which I think is good. I think that the Raptor is more of a defensive, more of a great defensive option than a lot of people take it for. Again, you know, in Blaston, a lot of the times, your best defense is a good offense, and being able to keep consistent pressure while also shooting your way through your opponent's bullets is incredibly valuable, not even to mention that it is the lowest cooldown in the game. Raptor Ellipse combo there, manages to go wide, but does force movement from Tim. He almost needs to be throwing that Lance Nade lower, I feel like. I feel like half the reason it's not hitting is because he is throwing it so high up into the air that it's giving BabySpine sort of a triangle of safety on either the left or right-hand side of his podium.
Waiting for the nade there. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Does actually force BabySpine's hand, I think literally, into getting some damage.
Yep. Agreed. 12 seconds left. Tim's got a fairly sizable lead. I'm liking where this is going.
Well, BabySpine can find even a Raptor hit. No, it's still Tim with the big life. Well, relatively big life lead. And he even adds to it by the end of it. So shout out to Tim, looking a lot stronger.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of matches today where players have taken very, very little damage. I mean, both these players are hitting. It's just for really small amounts most of the time. Again, you know, I talked about this sort of confusion with the win condition. And I feel like they both have it in a bullet hell sense. They're you know, their goal is to set down a lot of bullet hell and then, you know, go in for the kill afterwards. It's what they're using to go in for the kill afterwards that I feel like that's where they're sort of slipping up. But
interesting to see the different arrangement that BabySpine likes to shoot out. It's the Hurricane. It's not from vertically necessarily above. It's kind of at a, you know, just above eye line kind of spot. Yeah, here it is yet again. Different spot that he's shooting them out at. However, you see them falling, unfortunately for him, pretty harmlessly at Tim's feet right there.
Yeah. Tim getting hammered a little bit here by that Hammer Ellipse. And BabySpine actually doing something else too, not firing those Hurricanes upwards. Instead, just firing them straight forward. Rather than creating a wall that comes down, he's sort of sending a wall forward towards his opponent and reducing the amount of time it takes for those to become effective on his opponent's podium. Oh, yeah. Tim tries to jump over it, but he doesn't manage to do it. BabySpine's going to go ahead and take round two.
Yeah, it looked like that put him right into the hammer shots that were coming in as well. So nice little setup from BabySpine to have the Hurricanes approaching again from that kind of like frontal angle, and then the Hammer Ellipse to back it up. Or maybe that was just hammer shots.
And Tim again continuing to send that Lance Nade up. Again, I think he could get a little bit trickier with it. You know, one of my favorite tricks with the Lance Nade is to throw it down towards the bottom, below the podium. That distance below the podium, that is still active, available space for you to put nades. And sort of have it come upward. That sometimes can catch a lot of people who try and bait the nades out. Tim again trying to jump over one of those clamps and manages to just jump directly into it.
Oh, both
BabySpine also taking a lot of damage from this counterattack.
Yeah.
Tim does not have a consistent source of collision that he can use to get rid of those Hurricanes either. It's pretty much the Hammer Ellipse or the Raptor Ellipse for him.
BabySpine's, yeah, just as I say it, his Hurricane's back, he sends it forward. So again, he's using that to kind of force Tim backward. See where they're landing, they're making it so that Tim needs to move back and up. And then BabySpine is trying to follow that on with things like this that he has here, the Wildcats there, we've seen the...
Ooh. Okay! Ooh. Very nice clamp combination there from Tim, and he is going to go ahead and take game 2. All right, are we going to get right back into a game 3? Oh, no, we are going for another weapon swap.
Hey, man, I'm happy. That means it's not going to be a 3-0. There you go.
Oh, I've got bad news for you. Well, we're currently Tim sitting at 2-0 against BabySpine here. Although, who knows, self-fulfilling prophecies do exist. And I think that BabySpine has the most room for growth here. I think that either way, Tim is going to be sticking with that high damage land state. I think he just needs to figure out how exactly he's factoring that into the rest of his build. But on BabySpine's side, BabySpine has had really good execution. Again, like you said, I feel like the way that he's using that slow fall Hurricane is overall more effective. And it's almost easier sometimes to hit some projectiles on the back of the podium. And for the hammer lips, that definitely reigns true. It's much easier to hit an opponent who's on the back of the podium because you can sort of curve all the bullets towards the back of the podium and group them together like that versus just hitting them straight forward like you'd have to at the front of the podium. But again, then you bring into the fact that he's running the fast hammer lips, and I have to wonder, again, is this something that he's just running because he saw it run a lot today, or is this factoring further into his build?
Yeah, the hammer lips in its various iterations has been in almost every build we've seen today. I'm not sure if I can recall one that didn't have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably some of the shorter cooldown builds that we've seen, if at all. Because I actually agree with you. I think
it might have been in everything. Yeah,
at least in every single matchup that we've seen.
Sure, at least once. Yeah.
At least once. And again, as far as weapons go, sitting at 6 seconds, it definitely does well at putting a lot of projectiles in your opponent's side of the field. It's a very consistent weapon. I would hesitate to say that it's easy to use, but as far as the ellipse weapons go, it's probably the most consistent just because of the spread that it has. And then also talking about collision, too, it also packs a good bit of collision. So we'll see here what BabySpine ends up pulling in his last round. I think even maybe going back to the double laser loadout that he was using earlier on against 24. That was really effective.
That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, effective, and he clearly knew how to do the spread in the way that really forced, well, not necessarily forced anything, but really sectioned off a large part of the play area. Doing something like that and then following it up with a hammer lips. Yeah, that's a big cooldown, but at the same time, that could be the ticket that he needs in order to get the win on this possibly last match as we go into set point here for Tim.
Yeah, he didn't end up winning that, of course. He lost to 24, but 24's dodging is something we've been talking about the entire time. Is pretty singularly good, right? Extremely, extremely strong at that stuff. And maybe for somebody else, that build could be effective, right? Rather than giving up on it entirely. I mean, it was fun to watch. I would like to see it again, just from that perspective as a viewer.
Yeah, and I think that, again, when you get into tournament time, sometimes you can get that tunnel vision of, I'm going to play what the meta says is most effective, but sometimes those tournament upsets come when you pull out something that maybe your opponent isn't used to seeing.
Sure. That's how the meta changes.
All right, we are getting into, maybe I'm wrong. I thought we were getting into this last match right here. I think we're still solidly in that disconnect round.
Okay.
I do see BabySpine at least making one switch to the fast fall Hurricane versus that slow fall Hurricane. Okay. Like that. That's great. Love that. Also running the extra wide spread Hammernade and the fast Raptor. That's another change that we're seeing. All on top of the extra collision hammer. He's also completely gotten rid of... What
do we got?
I didn't even notice. Oh, my goodness. The Nova.
The Nova's in here, for
triumphant appearance. I think this is the first time... I actually think we saw it once during the NA bracket, but I wasn't casting.
Correct, yeah.
The Nova. Oh, look at it go. Look at it go. Suck it up, all of those Luma shots. Oh God, I love them. I love them. Brings a tear to my eyes. BabySpine takes, oh gosh, half this health, green damage right at the start of it. So for those of you who aren't aware, the Nova is sort of a hybrid hazard and defensive tool. And Tim is running the extra tanky variant of it, which is going to give it 90 health. So that is going to be definitely inconvenient for BabySpine. BabySpine actually does have the extra collision hammer, which is a pretty good counter to it, all things considered. But if Tim's able to play around it and keep those Novas up, it can be a really nasty hazard for BabySpine to have to get around once they reach his side of the road.
You can see how much faster those hurricane shots are. Oh my God, speaking of falling, Tim's health bar fell off a cliff.
Oh no! Oh, there we go. BabySpine's going to take round one. That is the power of the fast fall hurricane. Right there.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you can see the effectiveness.
Yep. Effects may vary. Ask your doctor if fast fall hurricane is for you. Alright, so Tim's going ahead and he's putting all 3 of those Novas down on BabySpine's This is where the Nova starts to hit hazard territory. Because it's very hard to get around that much at once. It's very similar, actually, to how BabySpine was using the slow fall hurricane earlier and sort of putting down a wall towards his opponent.
Right.
You can do that with those Novas too, and they only do 20 damage apiece. But again, that's how much the Luma does, and we've been going wild for those Luma shots today as well.
Well, you can see that hammer right there by BabySpine just destroying a couple of those Novas as they came forward. So he is clearing them off the stage reasonably well here and there.
Yep. And I would say that is the thing you have to really be careful about the Nova. Is that it's got a very clear weakness. The very clear weakness is collision. If you're able to do a consistent amount of collision to it, even the tank Nova can be brought down with enough bullets. It's really, at the end of the day, how much your opponent is willing to sacrifice in order to get rid of it. Oh, and you can actually see there, BabySpine went ahead and used the hammer kind of prematurely, and Tim is going to be able to get off those Novas. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? He does land the Frostbite.
A lot of misses right there, though. There was great movement out of BabySpine. Really predicting where Tim was going to shoot. Tim's away from that. Oh, I love it. BabySpine tossed his arm over with that laser right there to get away from it. That was sick.
15 seconds left on the clock. BabySpine's pretty close here. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have said anything.
I know. Oh no, Tim with the life lead all of a sudden threatening to go up to match point. BabySpine has 1 second. Can he find anything? No, the Raptor's not going to be good enough. It's match point now for Tim.
Yeah, and Tim really making, use of those Novas. I could critique the use of the Novas. Maybe I will after the match. But again, the big part with the Nova is just not getting greedy with them. Really just being careful and understanding that it is not a shield generator. It is a hazard. You want to be able to follow it up when it reaches your opponent's side of the podium. He does it right there, actually, with the Frostbite. And it's now ready to go yet again.
Ducking underneath the Luma attempts from BabySpine. Luma's out of here, but he's got a chance to set things up with the Hurricane. Oh, he takes some damage.
Just like that. Through those Novas. That's another thing that's great with those Novas. Fantastic with those Novas, in fact. I would dare say.
Yeah, the fact that they hide what you are doing in some sense from the opponent's eyes, that can be really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. BabySpine. I thought he managed to land some of those Hurricanes, but I think that he just managed to land the Raptor instead. Yeah, being able to hide your projectiles, and then also another one of my favorite tricks with the Nova is going ahead and putting a nade directly into the Nova to prevent my opponent from grabbing it.
Sick, I love it. Well, BabySpine is starting to run out of life and time here. Again, it's match point for Tim. Moving way up.
Brought down to the red. He tries firing off the Luma, but none of them manage to land, and he's got a herd of Novas heading towards him. Oh, the Frostbite goes through the Nova!
BabySpine can't get touched. All the stuff coming at him from now on is going to be for the tournament, effectively.
And with that Wildcat, Tim is going to be going forward. GG's to both of these players. Great match today. Great use of Nova, Tim. I have some critiques for you. I've already written them up, as the resident Nova expert here. But, really, really effective use. I think that, I could go and talk about Nova all day, but I think it was very solid playing from both of those players. And I think at the end of the day, Tim was just able to really plan out his combos just a little bit more than BabySpine was able to.
Apologies for the commentator's curse. I was so certain it wasn't going to be the 3-0. I just thought that history was going to get bucked. I didn't think it was going to happen. Was that 4 straight times? I didn't believe it. But indeed it did.
That's kind of the thing at this level of play. And you know what? Hey, all those matches went almost 6 minutes. It's not
true.
like any one of those matches was overwhelming for one player or another. It's just at this level, you know what? The better player usually ends up winning. And the realistic thing is that you also don't usually see a lot of matchups where the players are so close that they're constantly trading matches and forth. That's just a luxury that usually you don't get to see at this point.
The old apocryphal, hey man, I lost 3-0, but it was close. It was close.
Yeah.
I hear
and again, very, very well played to BabySpine there. Very well played to Tim there. I think that, you could make critiques about both of their builds, but at the end of the day, they came here with their best. They put on an absolutely great show. So, especially considering that both of their opponents were probably, I'm not going to say first and second, but maybe first and third right now in the world overall.